Hello, it's Bobi, aka Paginator, and I haven't posted anything in a little bit. Okay, so here's the scoop on what's been going on in my life. I had pre-filmed some videos leading into spring break, and then I was gonna use spring break to pre-film even more videos, and disaster struck. In my house, the town sewer system backed up, and I had sewer water in almost every room in my house, soaking in the floors and ruining them and stuff. So yeah, I'm still not in my house. It's currently in a state of disrepair. The emergency cleanup company is going to go in and replace floors and all that stuff. So I'm in the middle of kind of like a forced remodel. I guess the good news, if there is any, is that because the sewer backup was the town's fault, they are paying for the expenses. So there's that, but disruption in my life, happening all over the place, and some very, very good friends who live out of town during the winter months are letting me stay in their house. So that's where I am right now. Yeah. And hopefully I'll be back in my house in the not too distant future. So keep your fingers crossed for me, or if you're praying folk, please consider saying a prayer for my sanity and for the quick repair of my house. So I thought I'd talk about books and reading and what's been going on. I was in the middle of doing a vlog for Once Upon a Book Club box book called One in a Million, and with the upset of what was going on in my house and stuff, I actually stopped reading for a couple of days, stopped filming everything. And once things kind of calmed down a little bit, I did pick up again and I finished that book. But then I went a couple more days before I felt like reading anything. And then I had to go on a 4-day, 3-night field trip with students for a competition involving one of the clubs that I help work with. And while we were there, like the first night, we ran to Walmart to just get some things for breakfast and such, and I was browsing in the book section and I found this book here, The Banned Book Shop of Maggie Banks by Shauna Robinson. It is an adult romance, and as you can see from the title, centers around a bookstore. It is about Maggie, who's called in to help run the bookstore that her friend owns when her friend goes on maternity leave. And in this town, everything is centered around this famous author that used to live there. And there's this historical society that's kind of like oversees all the businesses that are related to this famous author, Edward Bell. And so Maggie's not allowed to sell modern books. And what she finds is that the business is not doing great, and she doesn't want to let her friend down. She doesn't want to be a failure because she feels like she's always a failure. And so she starts an underground kind of like book club situation. Now, I'm only 100 pages in, even though it's been quite a few days since I started. Life's been absolutely bonkers crazy, and then I came back home and things are busy and all this stuff. So anyway, so I haven't even gotten to the part of her first book event yet, but I'm hoping that it turns out to be really fun, like a fun read, and it has been enjoyable so far for what I've had time to read. We do have some things to open today, so we're going to be opening we're going to be opening Book of the Month Club for my March box, the owlcrate box, and an eBay purchase that's to do with Book of the Month. So let's dig into the boxes. We are going to start with this lovely white envelope. It is the thing that I got on eBay, and it is to do with Book of the Month, but it's also to do with junk journaling. So I'm super, super excited for this. Okay, so these are mailers from Book of the Month Club. Now these first three are from 1947, and it's just the covers. So it just opens up. It has some information about the art piece that's on the front and a little paragraph about, it's called Read What's Worth Remembering. And then we have, actually, oh, there's two more that are just covers. These are from 1946. So similar situation here. This one is what I thought I was gonna get. I thought I was getting more of what this is. So this one has the information inside. It's not just the front cover. And this one is December 1948. Inside we've got information about books. This one's talking about Cheaper by the Dozen by Frank Gilbreth Jr. and Ernestine Gilbreth Carey. I believe this is the book that the Cheaper by the Dozen movies are inspired by. And Hound Dog Man by Fred Gibson is the second book. Fred Gibson is the same author that wrote Old Yeller, right? Is that right? So there are passages from both of these in here. So you can see this is where the Hound Dog Man one begins. Here we've got some other little synopses, what seems to be of other books. One called Shake Well Before Using, another called An Act of Love. FDR, His Personal Letters, a star called Wormwood, a biography of Nathaniel Hawthorne. And here in the back there are some recent selections you may have missed. So it says browse here for other books with which you can get book dividend credit. So I'm guessing this is how Book of the Month Club used to work. And I'm looking at the prices here, and like they're $3, $3.25, $4. And then tucked inside was this vintage advertisement flyer. This is an advertisement for an almanac from 1949. Vintage ephemera, right? Which is what I wanted. I wish more of what I had purchased were more like this with the actual book information inside rather than just the covers, but I can use them for junk journaling when I get back to junk journaling, that is. As I'm not in my house right now, I obviously don't have all my crafting stuff with me, and honestly, I kind of don't know if it might be a while before I get back into junk journaling, even when I'm back in my house. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it then. I've been very slumpy, like reading slump, all kinds of slumps, just because I feel anxious and just overwhelmed with everything that's going on. Yeah, it's a lot. So, but we're gonna think positive. We have packages to open, they have books in them. So let's get on with the show. While I'm struggling to get this tape open, I'm gonna ask you guys, have any of you seen the movie on Amazon Prime called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris? I just watched it. It's so cute. It's set shortly following World War II in this woman who dreams of having a Dior gown, and she's a cleaning lady, and so she's got to work and save and then get to Paris and go to Dior, and yeah, it's quite an adventure, but really fun to watch. So I highly recommend it if you're looking for something to watch on Amazon Prime. Okay. Let's get into the books. So here I have Wayward. This is by Amelia Hart. This cover, I mean, come on. It's beautiful. The synopsis says, I am a wayward and wild inside. 2019. Under cover of darkness, Kate flees London for a ramshackle wayward cottage inherited from a great aunt she barely remembers. With its tumbling ivy and overgrown garden, the cottage is worlds away from the abusive partner who tormented Kate, but she soon suspects that her great aunt had a secret, one that lurks in the bones of the college, hidden ever since the witch hunts of the 17th century. Next paragraph, 1619. Alpha is awaiting trial for the murder of a local farmer who was stamped to death by his herd. When Alpha was a girl, her mother taught her their magic, a kind not rooted in spellcasting, but in a deep knowledge of the natural world. But unusual women have always been deemed dangerous, as the evidence of witchcraft is laid out against Alpha. I don't know why I said Agatha. It was Agatha all along. Alpha. She knows it will take her powers to maintain her freedom. And then we go forward to 1942. As World War II rages, Violet is trapped in her family's grand crumbling estate. Straitjacketed by societal convention, she longs for the robust education her brother receives and for her mother, long deceased, who is rumored to have gone mad before her death. The only traces Violet has of her are a locket bearing the initial W and the word wayward scratched into the baseboard of her bedroom. Weaving together the stories of 3 extraordinary women across 5 centuries, Wayward is an astonishing debut and an enthralling novel of female resilience. Not my usual thing that I read, but it did sound really interesting, and so I just went ahead and added it to my box. All right, the next book in here is quite chunky. Look at this cover. Shannon Chakraborty, which is also S.A. Chakraborty, The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. This is a female pirate book, if I remember right. It is an adult book, which I think is going to, like, if you see it, her listed as Shannon instead of S.A., I think that is what she's going to do for her adult writing, kind of like Victoria Schwab does Victoria or V.E. Schwab, depending on whether she's writing YA or middle grade. You know, do you understand the thing I'm saying? I don't know. Do I understand the thing I'm saying? All right, let's read the synopsis of this one. Amina al-Sarafi should be content. After a storied and scandalous career as one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious pirates, she survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, and several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety, motherhood, and absolutely nothing that hints of the supernatural. But when she's tracked down by the obscenely wealthy mother of a former crewman, she's offered a job no bandit could refuse: retrieve her comrade's kidnapped daughter for a kingly sum. The chance to have one last adventure with your crew, do right by an old friend, and win a fortune that will secure her family's future forever. It seems like such an obvious choice that it must be God's will. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the more it becomes alarmingly clear that there's more to this job and the girl's disappearance than she was led to believe. Where there's always risk in wanting to become a legend, to seize one last chance at glory, to savor just a bit more power, and the price might be your very soul. Before we do the third book, I will show you the bookmark that came in the box, and this says, I am a great judge of characters. Sometimes that's true and sometimes that's not. Sometimes characters can trick me. It depends on how good the author is. But here is this book, The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. This is the author of The Lost Apothecary, which I really enjoyed. And this one tells us, amid the shrouded parlors of Victorian London, 2 daring women hunt for the truth and justice in perilous art of conjuring the dead. 1873. At an abandoned chateau on the outskirts of Paris, a dark seance is about to take place, led by acclaimed spiritualist Vaudeline de Lair. Known worldwide for her talent in conjuring the spirits of murder victims to ascertain the identities of the people who killed them, she is highly sought after by widows and investigators alike. Lena Wicks has come to Paris to find answers about her sister's death, but to do so, she must embrace the unknown and overcome her own logic-driven bias against the occult. When Vaudeline is beckoned to England to solve a high-profile murder, Lena accompanies her as an understudy, but as the women team up with the powerful men of London's exclusive seance society to solve the mystery, they begin to suspect that they are not merely out to solve a crime, but perhaps entangled in one themselves. So it sounds like it could be interesting. As I said, I really enjoyed her other book, The Lost Apothecary, and it was very magical and also feminist and just really interesting. So I'm hoping to enjoy this one as well. All right, are you ready for an owlcrate unboxing? Here is this lovely box, and we're just gonna open her on up and get into it. And I've already dropped something. Here is our theme card, and it says, "Let's rewrite history" is the theme for the March box. So I got the box in March. It's the March box. It's kind of amazing. And let's start with the monthly pin. So this year they are treasured tomes, so they open like books. Okay, so I have it facing away from me, and I can see on the back it says, based on the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. And let's look at it together. Ooh, can I get that closer for you and it stay in focus? I see a fox. Okay. Ballad of the Archer and the Fox on the front, which is the alternate title for that book, Once Upon a Broken Heart. And on the inside, we have the little fox, and it says, "In case you forget what the Prince of Hearts has done and you're tempted to trust him again." There's a potion, an apple, a letter, and a key. Don't ever forget what the Prince of Hearts has done. He's sneaky. I really like that book. I haven't read the sequel yet. Do I even have the sequel? I don't know. My brain is fried right now. You should see my office where I usually film with all the bookshelves behind me. It is like everything shoved on one side of the room because I had to cut the carpet out. And oh my gosh. Okay, but okay, let's move onward. Okay, here we have a box here that's got some cute bookshelves on it. It says Bookshop Brews on here. So this is probably gonna be a cup or tumbler or something. I see a reusable straw that is clear. And wrapped in bubble wrap, we've got this tumbler. All right, this is gonna be hard to see because white writing on both sides with clear. Can I get something to pop in? Okay, can you see that? Carstairs and Herondale book merchants. Illustrated demonologies, weaponry guides, histories of scandalous shadow hunters, and partially burned spell books. I like that. This makes me want to read Cassandra Clare. I haven't read anything from her in such a long time. On the back side, we have, I can only assume, are some Latin words. Atque in perpetuum frater ave atque vale. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I've been coughing. Okay, so the lid is wood, but has this rubber ring, so it will sit nicely down in here. And then the straw goes in here. Boom. All right, we've got another box here. Looks like a pen inside. On the back it says owlcrate exclusive. Our Babel-inspired Eternal Pencil is ideal for annotating books, writing TBR lists, and perhaps even translating arcane manuscripts at prestigious universities. Eternal Pencil? What's an Eternal Pencil? Does that just mean a mechanical pencil? All right, here's a closer look at the pencil. And it says, we're here to make magic with words. What in the world? Look at this. I've never seen such a pencil before. What makes it eternal? I have no idea. I might have to do some research on this, but I'm not going to right now. If any of you know, let me know in the comments. Okay, I see something that's very exciting. Every time I get something of this particular item, I am very happy. It's socks, and they're like a library card. Yay! These are designed by Michelle Gray, and looks like they have just regular wash instructions. You can machine wash them. So on the toe, it says author, title, date, due, and then you have the lines. I'm so happy to be so happy. I've been in a really bad headspace the last couple weeks, so this makes me happy. Okay. Wow. All right, let's take a look at this. So we have lots of black and white and gray with just a few little pops of pink. All right, so let's read this. So on the first side I showed you, it says, that's how you get deathless vulchisa? What are those words? Walk the same tale over and over until you wear a groove in the world. Catherine and Valente, Deathless. I don't know that book. Deathless. The back side is a quote from Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. A good book was its own brand of magic. Stories made everything possible. I definitely know that book, and I really like that quote. Very cool. This is quite a nice size. It'll fit whatever book is in here, and good hardbacks, probably all of those Book of the Month books will fit inside of here as well. Okay, so there's a little information card. There's a new app powered by owlcrate. Perfect nest for the bookish community to gather. Download for free today. Owlcrate Collective, Owlcrate Rewards. So there's QR codes for all of these things, so I'll have to scan this on my iPad and check out the app. That sounds like it could be fun. It says in the app, there are groups for everyone, live chats with authors, fun reading challenges. Live chats with authors, really? That sounds like so much fun. Let's take a look at the book. Now, I'm gonna lift it up and we're just gonna take a look. We have sprayed edges. Now, this is not something that happens every time with owlcrate. It's much more of a fairy loot thing, but here we have sprayed edges. All right, and the front cover, Midnight Strikes by Zeba Shanaz, owlcrate exclusive signed edition. Let's get the plastic off and take a good look. So here's another look at those gorgeous gold sprayed edges, and Midnight Strikes, front cover, spine, back cover. Our fates are sealed whether we know it or not. Okay, first let me just make clear, this is like on the cover. There's not like a dust jacket. And we have gorgeous end papers. Look at this. Oh, so pretty. And then we have more of the same at the back. Stunning. Okay, so we have our letter from the author here. And then here is the autograph. Will my camera show it to you? Come on, camera. And here is the autograph. Okay, so let's read the letter from the author. Dear owlcrate reader, I wrote this book as a love letter to the classic YA fantasy that made me want to be an author. It has the brave, reluctant heroine, the charming, roguish prince, the friends that seem like enemies, and enemies that seem like friends. It just puts them through a brutal time loop that spells death and destruction along the way. But underneath the thrilling action, the twisted court politics, and star-crossed romance, the heart of Midnight Strikes is Aeneas. She is haunted by mistakes she can't undo, a present that never ends, and a future she can't begin to imagine. Yet even when it's hard, even when it hurts, she keeps going. And no matter what life and time throw your way, I hope you will too. So without further ado, allow me to welcome you to Aeneas' wonderful, terrible, glittering world. Tonight will be a night unlike any other, and look at that, you're right on time. Okay, since there's no dust jacket, how are we gonna get a good synopsis? Ooh, there's a map. We don't even need to know what's on this map. We just know there is a map. That's a good sign. A good sign in a fantasy book. Okay, hang on. We're gonna get the iPad out and we're gonna Google it and we're gonna get an actual synopsis because I'm still confused as to what this is actually about. Okay, so we've got it pulled up on Goodreads and this is what it says. 17-year-old Aeneas just wants tonight to end. As an outsider at the kingdom's glittering anniversary ball, she has no desire to rub shoulders with the nation's most eligible and pompous bachelors, especially not the notoriously roguish Prince Leo. But at the stroke of midnight, an explosion rips through the palace, killing everyone in its path, including her. The last thing Aeneas sees is fire, smoke, chaos, and then she wakes up in her bedroom hours before the ball. No one else remembers the deadly attack or believes her warnings of disaster. Not when it happens again and again and again. Oh my gosh, so it's like Groundhog's Day. If she's going to escape this nightmarish time loop, Aeneas must take control of her own fate and stop the attack before it happens. But the court's gilded surface belies a rotten core full of restless nobles grabbing at power, discontented commoners itching for revolution, and even royals who secretly dream of taking the throne. It's up to Aeneas to untangle these knots of deadly deceptions if she can survive past midnight. Here is the cover comparison. This, of course, is the cover that we just saw, and this is the traditional cover. And this card tells us that the April theme is going to be relics and ruins. Every April box will include an exclusive collectible designed by @Ice Wreath. And I'm guessing this is a sample of their work. So it's all in black and white. Interesting. Okay, so there we go. It's we've now unboxed 2 boxes of books and saw some fun like vintage book of the month things, and it's time for me to go. I guess I have to teach school tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna go get something productive done and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful, magical, and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.